Konnichiwa and welcome to episode 45 of the Leadership Japan podcast. And I'm your host in Tokyo, Dr. Greg Story, president of Dale Carnegie Training Japan, and much more importantly, you are a student of leadership, highly motivated to be the best in your business field. If you'd like your own access to 102 years of the accumulated wisdom of Dale Carnegie Training through free white papers, guidebooks, reports, training videos, blogs, course information, plus much, much more, then go to japan.dalecarnegie.com. And today we're going to talk about focus map idea generation. Contemplating the silent rows of downcast ideas around the meeting room, following your heroic call for ideas and input can be a character-building experience in Japan. You may be wondering, how did this country get where it is when no one seems to have any ideas, or is my leadership insufficient to the task? There are solid cultural reasons why Japanese staff are reluctant, hesitant, unwilling, and non-empowered to contribute, despite your well-meaning entreaties. It's not so odd. It took me a while to uncover the fact that engineers aren't stupid. Commanding the pen and filling pages of whiteboards with crazy ideas being randomly volunteered around the room is one of life's joys for me. The engineers in the room sit there glum, lifeless and silent. They have no ideas, right? They don't volunteer any ideas, they just look unhappy. Must be an uncreative, pedestrian, rather hopeless lot, I concluded. Actually, the environment for them was not conducive to idea generation. Maybe this is the same for your Japanese colleagues. The engineers were silent, but they were carefully analysing the issue, weighing evidence, sifting through the detail, looking for the perfect solution. In front of them, they saw a bunch of loudmouth lightweights talking unsubstantiated nonsense about topics concerning which there was obviously no core foundation of insight or knowledge. This on-the-fly idea generation was meaningless from their engineer point of view. Asking Japanese to speak up and float ideas around the room, either in English or Japanese, is a big ask in a culture which puts emphasis on group decision-making, harmony, self-subjugation, and modesty. If they are Japanese engineers, well, forget it. What type of environment works best for idea generation, and how do we get our Japanese colleagues firing? In 1953, Alex Osborne published Applied Imagination, launching the brainstorming industry. His 4 rules were very insightful. 1. Focus on quantity. 2. Withhold criticism. 3. Welcome unusual ideas. 4. Combine and improve ideas. Well, these still work as rules today, so make this the idea generation environment. He saw group brainstorming as an adjunct to individual idea generation. A lot of research work has been done on the individual versus group approach to idea generation. Frankly, from my reading, there are a lot of apples versus oranges comparisons in play here, so I found it very hard to reach any concrete conclusions about the individual versus group debate. The simple remedy is to include silent individual time for idea generation before combining the ideas of the group. This is particularly effective for Japanese colleagues. Suddenly being put on the spot for an idea and then delivering something shiny and new is not a national attribute that I have observed much to date. I've only been here 28 years, so maybe I missed something. Osborne believed that pre-work was a prerequisite. Individuals bring their ideas to the session rather than suddenly being expected to cough up inspiration on command. This seems infinitely sensible. So let's publicise what we are going to work on well before anyone gets into a room together. The presence of a trained facilitator for the session was also stressed. The facilitator is responsible for the processes, procedures, structures, environment, rules, ground rules, roles, etc. The facilitator also focuses the resources of the group and is sensitive to a variety of group dynamics. Now, having spent the last 20 years continuously using idea generation techniques with Japanese teams, I'm convinced our Japanese colleagues are brimming with creativity and good ideas. All they need to shine is the right environment and the right idea generation method. Now, many years ago, I took some training on techniques for innovative thinking and found a thing called focus mapping to be a great tool for idea generation. It allows you to start from a broad topic and then drill down to extremely concrete practical ideas very fast. Starting with the key information needed on a topic enables the later generation of practical ideas. It is extremely difficult in group or individual work to immediately go from a broad theme to generating specific ideas in quantity. To think of concrete ideas, you first need to think of the necessary information about the topic. You can't solve a problem or its component parts that you've not clearly identified. As Osborne noted, we want quantity first and we judge the ideas later. Focus mapping is a priority cascade system which works by starting with a high-level theme written in the middle of the worksheet. Put a circle around that and then surrounding it with circled key information about that broad theme. So as mentioned before, at this point in the process, you may want to ask everyone to individually develop some key information first and then call on them to include it on the worksheet. It is important to attach priorities to the information developed. This is a key to the successful use of the process, so do not allow the participants to miss this step. You will cover a number of priorities in a session, so a quick determination is best. Participants select the highest priority elements and keep cascading down by repeating the process. That means nominating sub-themes, coming up with related information, attaching priorities to the information, and then nominating the next level sub-themes until you reach a point where ideas can be generated. This can be done in just one cascade, or it might take 3 or 4. It will depend on the complexity of the theme. The process drills down very quickly and gets participants to identify key issues for concrete idea generation. Any of the priority elements nominated at any stage in the process can be selected as the next starting point. Because the process is so quick, the participants can cover quite a large number of areas, which makes the process also broad as well as deep. So, step 1, take the central theme. Place this in the middle of the sheet of paper or on the whiteboard, draw a circle around it and have the participants list up the key information that relates to the central theme. Look to get out the detail and the facts around the theme as broad subtopics in the first cascade. There will be many elements that come to mind. Get out as many as possible. Step 2. Having filled out the information points relating to the main theme, the participants now make a decision on which are the highest priority items to concentrate. So number these in a different colour for easy reference and get the numbers down. Step 3. Taking the highest priority item, repeat the process on the next worksheet. So that next priority item goes in the middle and we get out as much information as possible and we just keep repeating this process. The participants in step 4, the participants may need to keep going with the information points depending on the subject, but usually they'll soon get into a level of detail that allows them to start thinking of concrete ideas. Take the highest priority point, write it as a heading at the top of the page on the next worksheet, and have the participants start getting down ideas that occur to them related to the sub-theme. Again, some individual work can be done first before calling for ideas. After having listed up practical ideas, the next step is to start to evaluate and prioritize the ideas. put this list aside and now move on to the next worksheet. So after you've done all that, go back to any of the selected priority items and repeat the process. This might be from the very first page or a couple of iterations into the cascade process. The focused mapping process enables the participants to derive concrete data about a topic, which then becomes the basis for thinking of practical creative ideas. The drilling down across the priority items allows a breadth to the process that is very comprehensive as well as rapid. Try it and be surprised with what your colleagues come up with, even the engineers. All they need is the right environment. Thank you for joining the Leadership Japan podcast. Remember, to access your Dale Carnegie free white papers, guidebooks, training videos, blogs, course information, plus much more, go to japan.dalecarnegie.com.